What an absolutely massive pump we just saw in the crypto markets, especially on Ethereum, which was one of the ones that we had eyed out for quite some time. We'll look at that in today's show. Is it too late to position into some of these altcoins? Yesterday, we opened up a whole lot of positions, first on the Pinex bots, and then we went on Albank, and that was during the Whale Room Discord session. We opened up a whole bunch of trades over there. So we'll overview some of these. We'll look for some new trade opportunities in today's show. I am looking to purely just trade this as a trader's market in and out. Smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Let's get straight into the show content. Look at these moves, massive moves. Virtual's up almost 45%, Brett's up 30%. It's feeling like November, December all over again, right? Some sizable moves. Pengu up 24%. And if you do think that you're too late to be entering into this market, well, we'll overview that statement in today's show, and we'll see, is there actually any opportunities? Of course, on some things you probably wouldn't want to chase the pumps, but there is probably some opportunities if there is a high time frame shift that's taking place. We saw some volumes coming back into the market, and now we just need to see the stock market playing ball. So anyone who is shorting that market got absolutely rinsed. We saw very close over the last 24 to 48 hours period. We saw very close to $1 billion worth of short liquidations. I think the number was pushing that 800, but over the last 24 hours, 728 million came from the shorts. Massive liquidations. Look at that red towards the downside. Huge levels that we've seen taken out, and some big moves, right? Ethereum putting in almost a 20% move, right? Jumping 20% after the Pectra upgrade, after a lot of people capitulated on ETH. And we said this is actually one of the main positions that we're focusing on. And there's your ETH chart, right? We're targeting all the way up here. That was from the initial time where we started to cover this. I covered this actually in this YouTube show. Usually these shows don't get too many views, but actually this one got 30,000, which is not too bad. So I hope a lot of people were able to participate in that. That was on the 26th of April. I literally dedicated an entire show purely to why I'm going long on Ethereum. And first we went long from 1,500. We took our profits at 1,900 and we reestablished those positions sub 1,800. And yesterday, of course, we got the move. So this entire show is literally just about Ethereum and taking a margin long trade over there. So that worked out. We have the ETH BTC coming into the TD sequential monthly candle over there, which was the 9 buy. And now we're starting to get the 1 to 4 candle correction. So the 1 to 4 candle correction suggests or indicates that you could see anywhere from 1 month to 4 months of upside for Ethereum. I'm not necessarily saying it's ever going to take out these highs, but that 1 to 4 month bounce over here could be substantial, right? You could easily lead up into some of these levels over here where you had that order block that led into the markdown. Just to give you some perspective, you know, from the lows, percentage-wise, even into that level, you could essentially double your Bitcoin stack, right? So meaning Ethereum moves at double the pace to what Bitcoin is. And that's what we started to see over there. We had a look at this as well. We said when you start to break this parabolic curve or inverse parabolic curve that's moving towards the downside, and you actually start to leave that level, that's where you start to see big reversals and explosive moves. So that's exactly what's happening, right? Yesterday, these are the trades that we took. So we took out a whole bunch of positions as well on Albank. I told you, get your accounts ready. I have subsequently closed those positions. All of those are in profit. And the reason why is, well, twofold. These are the positions that I took. Here's the history of the account. So yesterday we made about $5,000 worth of profit. This was a pretty good series of trades. Quick profits closed it. One of the reasons I did that is just to give an opportunity for those of you who missed out to open up your Albank accounts, claim your sign-up bonus. We will start again, right? I'll look for new trades to let everyone else participate along with it. And we're just looking to get in and out with those trades, right? So get your Albank account ready. There's a link in the description that's below over here. If you go there, just go through to the link below and you'll see it says Albank, 0% maker fee. And you can get up to $10,000 in cashback bonuses, not once off, but literally every single week, depending on your trading bonuses, right? So use that link over there, get the account ready. We'll start to look for trades as of today. And then we got our Pinex trades. These ones I'm not closing because these are scaled approaches. We're leaving these running everything in profit over here, except for the cross margin futures trade over here, which is a hedged position, both long and short on BTC at the same time. So looking really, really good over here. Look at that. We only opened these yesterday. Bear chain already up 54%. And we only opened that trade yesterday. 𝗵𝗵 up 64%. We only opened that up yesterday on the show over here, right? So catching up to the older trades that we set up, which was ETH, Solana, and 𝗬𝗎, putting in some beautiful big gains over there. So a lot to look at. Let's go through Bitcoin first, and then we'll get into ETH, and then we'll look at some of the altcoins and we'll look for some opportunities. Will we get a pullback? I already see that in the comment section. Of course, there will always be a pullback, but the question is first, how high do you squeeze before you do get that pullback, right? But there will always be a pullback. Nothing ever goes up or down in a straight line without some sort of a pause. I think that short-term traders, you can still manipulate the market towards the upside and get some quick moves in and out, right? So if we look at the 24-hour liquidations, we said most of those were on the short side. Very few longs have been liquidated, and now you got the liquidity below price action over here, just under $98,000. So I guess, will there be a pullback? That's one area of interest to look out for when there is an eventual $5,000 to $10,000 candle towards the downside, which will always come. You know, that becomes a good opportunity to reload, right? Fear and greed up to 73 over there, pretty big. Gold still in an uptrend. High highs and high lows has been the name of the game. Yes, you do have a wick high that's higher than this over here, but as per the closing candles, which holds a stronger weighting and is more important, you can see over there, well, marginally closing higher, right? Those other closes over there are marginally higher, and you're still maintaining that high-low structure. So gold's still putting in its run. One thing that's showing something a little bit different, a little bit of a change taking place over here, is the DXY chart, right? This is something you have to be careful of, because this is what could usher in those bull trap scenarios, right? I don't necessarily think this is a bull trap. Just by the way, we did say that we're starting to shift the bias more towards the upside, and the outlook has really been that any pullback is going to form a higher low. At the time, we're looking for inverted head and shoulder. We had the left shoulder putting in the head at the 74K lows for Bitcoin, and then we're looking for the right shoulder. Now, given the move that you've had, you're probably not getting much of a right shoulder. Still possible, but unlikely. Still, the bias remains the same. Higher lows is the name of the game, right? We're expecting high lows. So watch for this over here, right? DXY deviates the top side of this massive trading range, and then the plan was always watch it run to the other end. Now, this threw us a bit of a curveball. Why did it throw us a curveball? Because when we started to break into this range over here, we expected rapid acceleration towards the downside on the DXY chart, which is the dollar measured against the other basket of currencies. And generally, when the dollar goes down, we see risk on assets flying towards the upside. But that didn't happen, right? At the time, that didn't happen. That's what threw the curveball, right? Dollar started to break down, and risk on assets continued to go down with the dollar. It was pretty brutal. And crypto held up somewhat sideways. It put in a bit of a dip, and then it held up somewhat sideways, right? So now we need to see, you know, is the usual inverse correlation going to kick into play, or are they going to continue to remain, you know, somewhat correlated in the sense that as this goes up, crypto still continues to go up because you're getting the deviation, you're breaking back inside the trend. Now, the old theory would suggest that if you hold inside this trend over here and you rally towards the upside and you've deviated this and you break back inside, the DXY would add pressure to risk on assets. It's important to focus on because the risk on assets have still put in they put in a bit of a move, but very, very, very low volume, right? We saw a little uptick yesterday, right? And this is off of yesterday what Trump said, which is unbelievable, right? Trump, you better go out and buy stocks now. He says, let me tell you, this country will be like a rocket ship that goes straight up. I mean, have you ever heard of this kind of manipulation, right? This is absolutely unreal in terms of market manipulation. But again, what I wanted to indicate is this was the initial short trade setup, at least just from a probabilistic standpoint. It made sense to take the trade. We said it's probably going to get stopped out. But afterwards, he came out and made this statement that you hardly had any sort of a move up over here, right? So this is the one thing we do need to watch out for. Again, counter to the bullish argument for crypto, which we're still bullish, is the deviation. This moves towards the upside, lack of volume in the stock market. That is just one of the things that we need to consider, right? Other than that, everything looks relatively decent when it comes to the total cryptocurrency market cap. We haven't looked at this for quite some time, but when we previously pulled this up, we said you can see the closing candles in the golden pocket over there, looking for the move up. And then the question remained very similar to Bitcoin. Is this a 5-wave count, Elliott wave count, where you're looking at an extended wave 5 higher to put in new all-time highs? Or is this going to be putting in a complacency bounce? Given the move that Bitcoin's had, as long as Bitcoin can maintain the current levels that it's at, the chances are that Bitcoin will challenge the highs, which means you would expect that the total cryptocurrency market cap should also continue and breach those highs, right? So as it currently stands, the good news is you've got back above the breakdown level. Now you want to maintain that level around that $3 trillion mark is vitally important for the total cryptocurrency market cap to defend that region, right? So we'll see how the weekly candle closes. Again, I'm inclined to believe that probably will take place. It would be good to see a bit of a consolidation as opposed to up only. If you get up only, gets a very, very strong moves towards the downside. And we'll look for some altcoin opportunities with that being said, right? Total 2, because of Ethereum putting in a nice move over there, starting to get a big sizable move towards the upside. You can see how relatively early it is for Total 2. It hasn't even broken back above the breakdown area, and the level to reclaim is 1.18 trillion. Total 3 has got above the breakdown area, or at least the 50% level, not the breakdown area. There's your breakdown area. Still needs to get above that. So again, going back to the question, are you late? Did you miss the bull run? You guys, sometimes you get these like 99% moves towards the downside and then a 20% move up. And most people probably feel that way if they didn't take the trades, right? But I would encourage you to understand that relatively speaking, not much has happened, right? Now you're looking for any pullbacks. Strength is coming into the market, and then you should get some beautiful moves towards the upside. So others over here, high lows throughout, also looking to reclaim 300 billion. Let's have a look at Total 3 measured against Bitcoin. This is still relatively speaking weak, meaning Bitcoin has been the better bet, right? Lower lows and lower highs. And I guess the pivot level for that trend line, 0.38. Others measured against Bitcoin also grinding into this region over here. This has been where you've seen the prior altcoin seasons occur off of that trend line, by the way. So keep an eye out if ETH does actually begin to run and put in some meaningful moves, and this starts to turn a corner over here. Maybe they are going to print money and maybe some good things are to come, right? Bitcoin, we outlined the areas of interest if you continue to rally aggressively over the coming weeks. You want to be careful between that $122,000 and $130,000 region. It's depending on when that hits. You can look at the little price label that we have over there. It just depends when you hit that level. Triple bearish divergence still potentially in play over there, right? So multiple candle closes above the 21 weekly exponential moving average. And this is exactly what I was talking about, where I said, you got your wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4. And then is this the top of wave 5, or does wave 5 actually come further out, right? That's what we still need to see. And the only way that we know that is once you actually take out those highs. But as per what I've written, I'll quickly go back into the Discord over here. I covered this today for the whale remembers. Essentially, what you could be doing is you may have just completed wave 1 to 2, which would, this number 2 would be a 74K low. And then you're leading into the explosive phase up, right? So the yellow highlighted area could potentially be what comes next if the market does continue to maintain that bullish posturing, which for us, the simple way, the idiot-proof way to know that, which is what we've said multiple times before, is as long as you're maintaining above the 21 weekly exponential moving average. And what's the very, very key word? It's angled towards the upside. The moving average must be angled up, right? If it's angled down and price is below it, it's still, then that's where your traps come into play. Do I think this is a bull trap? Probably not. Probably not. I think that you're going to have continuation. And part of the reason is you're getting a very, very big breakdown in Bitcoin dominance over here. Eventually, you've started to take out this level, right? This is a 4-hour trend, but the implications are greater because on the daily, you're starting to get massive candles towards the downside. And if for the first time we can start to get compression over here between the 9 and 18 exponential, which is the white and the yellow, and you can get those to cross and roll over, that's where you get the greedy market coming into play, where big moves begin to take place, right? So all in all, that's looking good. USDT dominance, we looked at that yesterday. In my opinion, this is going to continue to mark down. You can see over here, you broke this trend line. We said that's the area. We had been riding this trend the whole way, looking for essentially short trades off of the lows, long trades off of the highs, because this trades somewhat inversely. And we said when you break this trend line over here, pretty much long. sets in a lower high, long, continue to hold that long, and it's doing that throughout. So I would say as long as you don't break back above here, continue to hold the longs. If USDT dominance starts to break above this, let's give a little bit more leeway. If you want the aggressive entry, it's 4.6. If you want the loose entry, pretty much at breakdown level at 4.8. Meaning if USDT dominance so if you want to give yourself some breathing room, if USDT dominance can get back above 4.8 over here, that's probably where you want to close your long trades and you say this thing's going to start to move more towards the upside. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that you could probably have an aggressive entry over there, meaning as long as USDT dominance doesn't get above 4.75, long and strong until you hit your next key levels, you're getting close to 4.6. I think a bit of a bounce over there, but this thing can really start to drop very, very hard. Okay, in a couple of hours' time, we'll get the updated version of the daily exchange volume 7-day moving average. I do expect that this should slowly start to move towards the upside, and that could be the first higher low in a series of lower lows and lower highs. And then if you can start to get above 50 billion, then you've reversed that trend essentially, and things start to look really, really good, right? So here's our Bitcoin chart coming close towards the highs over here. Initially, we told you that if price does actually make it to these highs, it might put in a bit of a pause, but we don't believe in these triple tops and things like that. Chances are you're probably going to breach through that level over there on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin looking really, really good. And probably the biggest thing that we've seen is, at least on this move up, you did actually get an increase in volume. So look at the volume over there, volume breaking that down sloping trend line over there that have been governing the volume towards the downside, which was a bit of a risk factor, right? So good to see some volume coming into the market. Hopefully that volume does actually continue towards the upside as price moves over there. Then we know that it's a trustworthy and real move, right? So some big moves. I wrote down a list. I'm not sure prices are all going to be in exactly the same area, but I went through this with the whale remembers yesterday. We spoke about all exactly the same trade setup that we found initially on Bitcoin, from $81,000 to $83,000 looking for longs, trading it to the yearly open. Then we said Ethereum around that $1,700-$1,800 level, looking for longs, trading it where? To the yearly open, which is all the way up here to 3,300. And the thesis is exactly the same. It doesn't matter which altcoin you're looking at. We're using the Monday range, we're using the previous month's low, high, and the yearly open, and that's how we're finding some of the trades. So let me have a look at some of the coins that are marked out over here to see if there is any opportunities. Now, of course, you would be longing into a massive pump if you do open longs now, but I understand many people have itchy fingers. I'm trying to do the best that I can to assist you with your itchy fingers and still manage your risk somewhat. So you've broken a key level on Ethereum. You know, this is going to leave big inefficiency candles. Eventually, you're going to come back and you're going to fill these inefficiencies, meaning at some point, ETH is going to trade all the way back down to about 1,900. The problem is, how high does it go first, right? Sometimes you could just see this thing squeeze all the way up to the yearly open and then only come back after the whole move has already happened, at which point you've missed everything, right? So hence, it's not a bad idea to have established some positions already like we did with these ones, right? So I'll look for some new opportunities. Let me know in the comments if there is anything that you have your eye on that you think's in a great zone. Risk to reward wise, it makes perfect sense. And then for the rest of you, while we go through that list, again, I do want to remind you, open up the account with Bank, claim your sign-up bonus over there. Remember, you can unlock $10,000 in cash back bonuses per week. So when you trade there, they're actually physically giving you money back, and there's 0% maker fee. So you don't have to pay the one side of the trade, which saves you a whole lot of money. All right, let's go through the list. So first on the list I had was Ondo. Okay, let's go to Ondo. Let me see. Ondo USDT. I don't know how much it's moved since I made this list yesterday, but I made it last night. And these were some of the things I was looking at, right? So a lot of these have moved very, very similar to Ethereum, which makes it a bit challenging. But the general thesis has been that as long as you maintain the weekly lows like that, some coins put their weekly lows on Monday, some on Tuesday, and some on Wednesday. So between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday lows, as long as you maintain those lows, it's basically long and strong with a target of the yearly open. This has moved a bit much. I don't know if I can get a trade in on this. We'll see on the lower time frames. You know, this has really, really moved a lot. It can continue to squeeze all the way into the previous month's high. This is Ondo. You can kind of see that range-bound environment, right? If you look over here, you know, that's your range low. This whole area in the middle is your mid-range. And then this is going to be your range high. So a lot of coins could do this, right? Push through the previous month's high, and then put in a bit of a pullback. That pullback, which may only come sometime next week, would probably be the opportunity to establish the next best position. But let's have a look now. Maybe we find something, right? So Ondo, I don't know, I might pass on that one. Let's go to the next one, Render. Render was one that I did actually take the trade on, but I closed all of the positions because I'm more in day trader mindset at the moment. Let's see. So Render, not too bad, right? Reclaiming a key level. There it is, pushing the previous month's high. We said stop loss below over here. So this is where the trade was initially entered. You know, it is up about 6-7% since having taken that trade. We can have a look a little bit maybe on the lower time frames like this. All right, render. I mean, you know, if you want, let's move this up a little bit. This was the original trade idea. So let's just move that up a bit. And we'll go for a little bit of a more granular approach over here. Look, you're coming into same thing. Previous month's high theoretically is acting as the range highs, but going into a weekend, I could expect that maybe there's going to be some retail action. So maybe you get some sort of a weekend pump. It's Friday today. And then you slam them down on Monday open, right? And then I think we have some high impact economic data. Let's just check over here coming out. What do we need? High impact economic data coming out on TradFi. Here it is. Okay, I think on Tuesday or Wednesday, there's a couple of things. So let's just see how this lines up. So maybe you pump in the weekend. Tuesday, Monday, you put in a bit of a low, and then you come into Tuesday. Let's go to the crypto calendar. And what is our date? We need to go to next week. Let's let that reload. Next week, we have, there we go, CPI. So maybe a bit of a pullback just before CPI. CPI numbers come out good. Trump says oil's down, inflation is down, everything's under control, things look good. PPI comes out good, and then you have continuation higher. All right, let's see. Going back to Render, I don't know, am I going to take a trade over here? Let's see. It might be worth putting in a little bit of a position. Let's see if we can go on a 15-minute. All right, I think I'm going to take the trade over here. I'm going to go with a pretty tight stop loss, though. So Render will go something like this. Okay, I know we're chasing a bit of a pump over here, but we just want to get a position in. I'm going to put stop at about 468. So entry over here and stop at 468, Render. Okay, we'll throw a bit of risk on the table over here today. Guys, of course, you know, not financial advice. Control your own risk over there. Be careful with your trades. I'm just going to be running these on 3x leverage. Let's see, limit order. We're going with about, we ran this account up to 30, almost 35K. Let's run it on, I'm going to put in about a 2,500. Actually, let's go 3,000. So it's about a $9,000 position size. All right. Okay, cool. So we got that trade. Wait, let's just quickly do that again. 1 second. Okay, let's just get the order filled now. All right, we in. So we got one on the table. Render, pretty tight stop. We're going to put a tight stop loss in there. Okay, I'm going to run this. I'm going to put the stop loss in about 3% down. So that's 4.686. And then I'll adjust this at a later stage if I need to, right? If we need to change this, we'll change it at a later stage. So let's put in a bit of a stop over there. What do we say? 4.687. Okay, if it comes down a bit, I might scale in just a little bit more. So let's throw that in. Okay, stops in play. Target ideas. Where are we going to trade this thing up to? Okay, most of these are the yearly open, right? So that's a sizable move. Are we going to get that straight away? Probably not. Let's go with a little bit of a more conservative approach and see. Let's just have a look left. So I think I'll probably be looking to take the majority of the profits within this region over here. Okay, within this zone over here. One sec. Let's just throw in an alarm. Okay, so just under $6. I'll take some profits over there. Just under $6, $5.96, and then if the rest runs through to yearly open, that's the next zone. So we got one trade on the table. Let's see, what else have we got? WIF was the other one. Guys, don't ape in and front run me here. Let's go to WIF. Okay, is WIF still looking decent? A lot of them pushing those previous month's highs, but things are looking strong. Very, very, very strong. Remember, a lot of inefficiency over here. This thing can run it all the way to the yearly open. If we're going under the assumption that the daily lows in, I guess you can put in a bit of a risky trade. Stops below that. Let's quickly see on the hourly how this looks. First, let me just mark out that daily low. Okay, I kind of like the daily low to hold for the rest of today. But what are we looking at in terms of our risk over here? It's a 7% move. It's pretty sizable. Okay, we'll come back to this one. Let's go to some of the others on the list. Okay, GOAT. I probably shouldn't have closed GOAT. I mean, that thing's cooking, but let's go back. GOATius Maximus. USDT. And we can have a look at a bunch of other coins as well, guys. Let me know in the comments if you think there's anything decent. Okay, this has already put in a 20% move on the day, which is insane, but it's breaking the previous month's high. This is kind of the assumption of what we may see next for the rest of the coins over there. So I can't chase this now. I should have just left the trade open. Yesterday, we held the trade from here. I mean, that was like a 64% move. Do we have GOAT on Albank? Did I open that one over here? No, we did Berachain. I opened GOAT previously on this one. Where was our entry on this? Entry was 0.088. So we entered somewhere around here. Okay. I'm not going to chase GOAT. It's up too much. Next, Grok was another one. Grok. Let's go to Grok. Okay. Grok still down slightly. Okay, I mean, let's just see. Do we even have Grok on here? We don't have Grok on here. Do we have Spot Grok? We do have Spot Grok. Do we take a spot position on Grok? Okay, I'm going to leave it for now, but Grok is a decent one. Maybe look on, maybe take a spot position on Grok if you want. I might open it just now. For now, let's just get the leverage trades out the way because price is moving. I don't want to take on too much risk, but I think Grok looks pretty good as well for move up to the yearly open. You can see still maintaining Monday high. This is where a lot of the other trades, best positions were put in, was around that Monday high over there. By the way, guys, I just want to mention before we go through the rest of them, you know, most of these are dropped ahead of time over here in the Whale Room Discord. Look at the amount of information I dropped yesterday, every single step of the way, leading into all of these moves, Bitcoin dominance, like just literally looking at every single thing in Whale Room. And it's not only me, the other traders over there. If you look at some of our scalpers, you know, these guys are making like $50,000 to $100,000 per trading day. It's insane gains. For any of you that want to get into the Whale Room Discord, the link is below, right? Click on Whale Room over there. Join in. It is, I believe, $159 a month. I mean, you're going to make that back in literally your first 5-minute trade. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, we're gonna put a pause over there on Grok. I'll probably look to take that position on spot, but for now, let's get the other ones out the way. GigaChad is the next one, right? GigaChad I had on my watch list, up 6.4%. It's okay. It's not too bad. I would expect major expansion on this. You know, of course, we are chasing price over here, but as long as you can calculate your risk, it's not the end of the world. A move up to the previous month's high is very, very, very possible. At the moment, you're kind of chasing these parabolic moves, right? So in terms of invalidation, this is pretty low liquidity. Let's just see if we even have that. Do we have Giga listed over here? Because not on all the exchanges we do. Do we have it on futures though? We do have it on futures. So we got Giga over here. It's just tough to find an entry on this, right? I mean, you're looking at a pretty expansive move over here. Stop loss is like pretty much essentially 9-10% down. So what I'll do is I'll probably put a small position on this, on GigaChad. I'll go really, really small. I'll take it over here. I'm going to put in literally only like about $1,500. So I'm on, let's just quickly, always make sure you change this, right? Otherwise we're about to get rinsed over here. Put that back onto 3x for me. Okay, 3x. So I'm going with $1,500 position over here. $500 margin. Okay, cool. Render, Giga, those are the positions we have so far. And putting very small, because if this comes down a bit, I want to scale in a bit more into this area. My general idea is that it shouldn't take out those lows. The origin of that move. All right, next, FOG. Let's have a look at FOG. How is FOG doing? FOG USDT. All right, this one's already moved a lot. Going on to the daily, just to give you some perspective, though, it hasn't taken out the previous month's high. So if it can consolidate above here, you know, you can put in some sizable moves. I want to look at another one quickly just before that is Peanut USDT. Let's quickly see Peanut. Okay, Peanut's already moved a bit too much. I don't know if I can take this trade over here. This is the difficult part when price starts to move very quickly, right? You think that you're offsides, but theoretically, you can still get massive expansion off of these, especially when it comes to meme coins and things like that. Sometimes, you know, you put in this kind of a move, consolidate, and then you just rip it again. So it makes it challenging. It makes it challenging. I'd rather look for some better opportunities. How's PopCat? Let's quickly see PopCat over here. Okay, PopCat starting to hold above the previous month's high. It's already run a lot, but I mean, risk to reward, you're looking at a move up there. That's about 46%. Essentially, this is what you're doing, right? You're looking at something like that. Doesn't make sense risk to reward wise. 4-1. We'll come back to that one. Let's leave PopCat on the sidelines for now. Let's go to Bonk. Okay, Bonk USDT. Okay, we already mentioned the long trade on this quite a while ago coming into that Monday low. So that was a great opportunity over there. Hasn't taken out the previous month's high yet. I don't know. I'm going to wait on this one. I'm not going to take this one yet. I do see also a little bit of a parallel channel forming over here. Let's just see how that lines up. Okay, so you're probably going to be met with some resistances coming into these zones. You know, as it pushes up to about 2.4, 2.1. Let's go on the next one. 𝗪𝗡 was the other one. Yesterday, we did take the trade on 𝗪𝗡. It was one of the long trades that we took. But is it worth taking another one? Okay, that was the trade setup, right? Yesterday. Stops below Monday low. Basically, price runs up and off it goes. I don't know. I can't chase this now. I'm going to leave it. Okay, next up. Did we take 𝗪𝗡 over here on this one? No, not on this one. We took it on Albank originally. Where was that 𝗪𝗡 trade? There we go. 𝗪𝗡. All right. Next. AIXBT. That was another one I had marked off. Let's check it out. Okay, above previous month's high, taking out the Monday high. Remember, most of the trades that we took were based off of that Monday high region. Let's just get perspective on the daily. Not bad, right? I think AIXBT, I like the way these 4-hour candles have started to form over here. Do we have it? AIXBT. AIXBT. Okay, AIXBT, let's go. Okay, let's go. Let's run a, let's double check this over here. How big are we going on this trade? 3x. Let's just keep it nice and modest on a 3x leverage. Remember, the leverage is not the position size. It's just your position size is the most important thing. I'm going to go with a decent size on this one. 4K position, $12,000 position size, 4,000 margin. Everyone is front running me. Everyone is front running me. 20,965. Okay, let's just try that again. Okay, I'm going 3.5 because you guys are front running me. Guys, I can't get the position in. Everyone is front running this position. I mean, that almost took it. 210. Okay, why do you guys have to do this to me? 3.5. Now you're making me market buy. Okay, cool. We're in. I'll add stop losses on these just now, but just to give it to you over here, 𝗪𝗔𝗄𝗃, I'd pretty much be keeping a tight stop just underneath. Just underneath it. You don't want to deviate Monday high. So far, this looks like one of the better ones to me, by the way, 𝗪𝗃. And then I'll raise that stop to break even as soon as price starts to expand over here. Next up, 𝗪16Z. Let's quickly see what that one looks like, if it's anything decent over here. 𝗪16Z. Okay, this one's already moved a lot. Daily perspective. I don't know. I think it can continue to expand, but it's probably going to come back to test this region of support at a later stage, which means back to re-entry. Next, 𝗨𝗏 was the other one, right? Let's have a look at 𝗨𝗏, and then we'll come back to some of those. We'll do some of your requests as well. 𝗨𝗏. Under the AI sector, really not looking bad. Look at that. Looking at expansion over here. Monday low. This looks decent, right? Also looks decent over here. Do we have 𝗨𝗏? 𝗨𝗏. We don't have 𝗨𝗏 over here, but I think you can get this on Sol. But I mean, generally, loose stop loss underneath the lows, same as everything else, below the weekly lows. If you want a tight stop loss, Monday low, as long as you don't break back. But even you can go with Monday high, which is where the current wick is basically tested back into today, which means stop loss below the low and targeting all the way up towards yearly opens, right? If you get a massive mammoth move over here, you can target to yearly opens. All right. Chill guy. Sure, we can have a look at chill guy. Now I'm going into requests, guys. Hardest, I can see in the little screen on the bottom over there. Do we have a meeting or not? Just give me a thumbs up or down. Okay, no meeting, guys, so we can continue on over here. That's a good thing. Guys, did you see did you see Hardest on the stream yesterday? Have a look at this. Literally, Hardest did a show on my Twitter account yesterday. Absolutely unreal. Look at this. I'm going to show you now. Here he is. Literally, Hardest on my Twitter. The perfect crypto strategy for the next days. Play this right. You guys should go and check his content out. Okay, cool. Let's go back over here. Chill guy. We said chill guy. Let's have a look at chill guy. We'll go to, which one should we go to? Let's go to the Bybit one. I mean, it's already moved a lot. But yeah, if you're in this trade, great. I would look to take profits into this zone about 11.6. 11.6, round about there. You can see a lot of the positions over here. It's almost like the same setups for most of them, right? Anything, the closer something is to the Monday range, the better your entry, or the tighter your stop loss can be. If it breaks back into the Monday range, you stop out. Literally as easy as that. We're in full FOMO mode right now, right? Everyone's in full FOMO over here. So Lido also not too bad, can trade up whenever ETH does well. Things like Lido will do well, so that can trade up quite high. What else? SPX, how's SPX doing? Not bad. What are Murad's other coins? Let me know in the comments over there. Okay, let me know in the comments. What are his other coins? We know that he's SPX is his biggest. Giga is another one. Injective, sure. Let's have a look at Injective. Okay, it's not bad. Injective, I mean, looks good to expand at least towards these highs at about 14. Also a little bit late on the entry though. It's not perfect. Curve, we can have a look at curve. Okay, curve, not bad. If you put in the low, I mean, this is your move is up to the yearly open over there. We have to look on some of the lower time frames. I can't find a great risk to reward over here. That's the only problem. But guys, the market's in full FOMO mode over here, right? So you want to trail your stop losses. You want to be careful when it comes to taking your trades. Let's just get rid of that. There we go. So I'll be inserting stop losses over here as soon as possible. I actually want to take this AIXBT. We're still on that. I'm going to add in another 1,000 over here because risk to reward, this one looks like one of the better ones that can really move. Okay, we got a $10,500 position on this one. Once you can just breach above this high over here, like this is your daily look. Let's go to the daily. I mean, I'm looking for huge expansion over here, at least into this region. Let's get rid of that weird volume over there. So this is the setup. I mean, you could go loose setup like that, 3.45 to 1 risk to reward ratio, or you can just assume that this is a massive breakout, immediately eliminate the risk by moving your stops to break even as quick as possible. But for now, while you give it a chance to get going, stops go below the daily low, which would basically look like this. So building a position like that, stops below the daily low, you're playing the assumption game that the daily low has already been set. All right, just checking my chats if there's anything else. If guys, let me know if there's something else you want to have a look at. Okay. All right, I see you guys say Goku's doing good. We looked at that as well, looking for a move up to the yearly open. That one looks cooking. One of our low cap gems. Also, they have their buy and burn, or not buy, they have their burn mechanism, right? The team are burning part of the supply. Okay, let's check on the Pinex bots. Are we going to make any changes over here? For now, I think the plan is I'm going to leave most of these to run towards the yearly open. Let's just check 𝗬𝗎 because 𝗬𝗎's already basically hit the yearly open. This was one of the trades that has basically played out in full. But I think 𝗬𝗎 can still continue over here. So we'll leave that open. I'll let you know. Remember, when I close my bots, it doesn't automatically close yours. You can copy my bots to trade exactly the same bot over here. Everything is linked in the description below. But you need to watch the shows. Put the bell notification on. Follow me on X. Watch the shows, because when I close those bots, you're going to have to close them manually, right? Otherwise, it's not going to work. If I make any changes over here, you need to be following the show to understand what to do next. Okay, let's see what else, guys. I've also been following ETH just on the super low time frame. Like, undoubtedly, this is an overextended move. These things are getting crazy. I mean, look at this. This is literally price overextending away from the 50 and 200 EMA, and that's on a 3-minute time frame. It's unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Look at this move, how it's just ridden that EMA all the way up. So basically, you can say that once it starts to lose this, that low time frame trend has probably come to its end. So be very, very careful. Place your stop losses as soon as possible. Move them into break even or take profit, or locking in the profits with fees as soon as possible. So this is how you trade these breakout moves, right? You want to eliminate the risk as quick as possible. So if price obviously does start to break down, it usually does it very aggressively, right? If price does break down, you kind of see those kind of moves. It's just like absolutely rinses everyone. So straight after the show, I'm going to be going and putting stops on everything. Pinex already works with bot technology, so that's a little bit different. All right, cool. Let me know what else, guys. I think that the mantra is wrecked. Mantra is wrecked, right? I see this question. There's no point in even looking at it. It's wrecked. Like, I genuinely don't think that it's got a chance of returning. It's kind of like Luna. I don't want to lie to you. Honestly, I don't want to lie to you guys. All right, the rest of you guys, I'll be in the Discord, right? I'll be in the Discord throughout today. So all the rest of the team will probably be trading all weekend. For those of you that want that extra information, the link is in the description below. And remember, Whale School is also linked below for anyone that wants to learn to trade for free. The school cohort link is there. We're starting with the next cohort soon. I'll see the rest of you on tomorrow, actually. We'll do a show tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. We'll catch you soon. And cheers for now.